First of all, thank you all for joining us today. It's an initiative to bring data and AI insights for Ahmedabad by the folks, leaders in the area, and gain some insights for all of us, whether you are a student or a professional. We want to glean all the nuances of insights that different leaders and individuals have who join us. So today we are very fortunate to have Mr. Nikhil Shah join us. He's a founder of Sealand System. He has worked in a variety of institutions in the US, at Juniper Networks, Crest Data Systems, Cisco, Lucent, and Bell Labs, one of the most prestigious locations. And he then moved back to Ahmedabad and has started the company called Sealand System. He's a leader in the AI, Gen AI space. So thank you. Please join me. We talk about a little bit is a violence-free world. So, and how do you use AI and Gen AI maybe to help that is something that he's going to talk about as well. So that's a very interesting area of interest. But before we go there, what I would love to do is ask you about your journey. How did you sort of get in from the corporate environment to be an entrepreneur, and just give us a little bit about yourself.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Rahul, for a wonderful setup, and I applaud Chaudhary sir and MG Science and you particularly to take this initiative. I think it's a good forum for us to connect and share our experience. Talking about my journey, 15, 18 years in the corporate world, worked in India, in US. I had various corporate roles. I was managing Asia Pacific region for advanced technologies. I had a team spread across Asia Pacific. But you know, after we said Gujarati as entrepreneurship in the blood, right? So eventually it kicked in. So when I moved back from US to India in around 2009, I continued working for Juniper Networks for the Asia Pacific region. And at some point, you know, corporate life, I felt that it brings you to a comfort zone of some kind. And in entrepreneurship, Gujaratis don't need to be explained, right? It is, as I said, in the blood. But it combining all the stuff that I picked up in US, India, and other places, I wanted to see how I can apply. And teaching or education or knowledge passing always has been my aspiration. Even at our company, we had initially started industry readiness program where we take students from the final year and get them ready for the industry. Because academics do certain parts, but industry can also bring some interesting perspective. So that's how the journey started. But one thing in what I've seen, largely I worked with two main organizations, Lucent Technologies and Juniper. It has happened that I spent almost 8 years and 4 months, which is about 100 months in both the companies. But even I started, just like many of you are in data science profession, as I understand, in education. I started a career as a software engineer, and while I became entrepreneur and running my own organization, we are about 50 plus people. Our team mostly focused on data science. My journey has been every 2.5 years. It just happened. It's never planned, but just every 2.5 years, you change your working approach or working role rather. I'm still in telecom, still in IT domain, but still you do a different role. So I started with software engineer and then moved into network deployment engineering. So I work with almost many global service providers, just like Reliance, Airtel, Singapore Telecom, Telstra, AT&T US, Verizon, British Telecom, where you get involved and design the network, nationwide network deployments for broadband, optical fiber to 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G network. So core engineering, software engineering in networking, but then evolved that role into network deployment side of it. Then evolved that my role after, as I said, 2.5 years into product management, solutions management. I was also involved for quite a bit time into standards development. Then sales, kind of technical sales, marketing. So it just brings the freshness, I guess, in your role, because if you keep doing same thing versus you still continue the domain but you change your job functions. So that's how eventually I think it also helped me to see things from a very different perspective, and eventually that prompted to get into running your own company. And one of the things which I really enjoy is working with young professionals and inspire them to do some amazing things. Many of my team members knows better than me because our world of AI and analytics is worked so fast that if you are out of touch for 1 month, things works very, very ahead of you.
So how did you end up in data science? What was that last bit? You are now in data science.
Yeah, yes, we are primarily data science organization, and one thing I have always intrigued me is to work on emerging technologies, right? Work on something not, traditional stuff. For example, if I have a choice to work on software which can fix some banking calculations and make sure that fixed deposits are correctly reflected or balance are correctly reflected, versus if you have to work on driverless car, right? Writing algorithms, which one would be more exciting? So even from early age, more forward-looking stuff was always exciting. And when it comes to data, I always felt that data has power. Like we call it many times, some of you might have heard, we call it data as a oil, right, or new oil. I consider why, anybody know why it is called oil? Can you raise your hand? Okay, I'll tell you a little bit about it. So in the world, if you look at it in last 5-6 decades, most of the war, Iraq war or Kuwait war, I mean, you can think even recent wars going on in Russia. Oil, it's some part of the equation, right? Because oil drives the economy of the world. Oil decides the power, the price of the dollar. So just like oil has so much influence on the global economics, similarly data is going to be the new oil. So not any random data, but the historically well-structured, well-documented data, which can give you immense power. And that's why many companies, right? If you look at OpenAI, even Elon Musk willing to pay $100 billion just a few weeks back to OpenAI for why? Because they're sitting on a gold mine of data they have trained. So data, in my opinion, is a new oil, and artificial intelligence, they can call it as a new refinery. Because what refinery does is separate the valuables out of the oil, right? Segregate petrol versus bitumen versus precious diesel and all this segregation. Similarly, artificial intelligence, data science has a power to find actionable insight from your data, right? And that's why AI is big powerful, and data science is a field which I felt has an immense future, and it's quite exciting. Another thing is data science is quite technology agnostic or domain agnostic. You can work for healthcare, you can be working for financial company, you can working for media and entertainment industry. Doesn't matter. Data is data, right? So there is no religion to a data. And in a lighter note, I would say that in Bollywood, right? I'm sure all of us, we have seen, hero and villain, they fight, and then either they pick the villain and then torture. When they torture the person, what is the objective? We want to get the truth out of that person. So similarly, I also feel that if you torture the data, the data will tell you the truth, right? Absolutely. So data science is the tool which you can allow, in a lighter note, to torture the data, to tell the truth, to get the truth out of it. And that is what exciting for me, and that's where I am.
That's very, very true and very interesting way of thinking about it.
Not that I torture people. But
I was just going to say that. But anyways, there are a lot of initiatives that you are doing through your organization for getting students ready for, and just want to know your thoughts on, how can Ahmedabad as a city get ready for the whole wave of AI ML? How can we be leaders versus, I'm sure you heard this, when you go and talk to professionals outside India, they either say you're from Bangalore or Delhi if you have a data science company. But Ahmedabad doesn't come up even in the top 10. So how do we change that?
Correct. It's a great thought, and something as a Ahmedabadis, right, all of us, I think we have some moral responsibility to elevate our brand, as Rahul said, to bring to our top. If somebody thinking about Ahmedabad, right, or somebody is thinking about AI or data science, Ahmedabad should also come in the top list. So what, as industry professionals or as academic institutes or even government, what we can collectively do to make that happen? If that's a question, then I would say, first of all, let's get the right talent pool ready within Ahmedabad,
Right here.
which we have here, right here, and this is a part of this initiative that data speaks, or we call it Databytes from Ahmedabad. So, like LD College, which I am alumni from, LD and engineering has also started artificial intelligence and robotics as a discipline. So I think there are initiatives happening. No doubt we need a great faculties, and you have to start from some point. Eventually it would happen to bring the really good talent pool here from the teaching point of view, as well as just few weeks back I was at GIFT City. There Gujarat government has kicked off the Center of Excellence for AI at the part of GIFT City initiative. I was there, I visited that center. It's a great initiative to showcase AI startups, to demonstrate their capability for a sustained period of time. Right? So such initiatives should be taken, and also something out of the box. I believe that we should, as a city, as collectively, to showcase some of the initiatives which are helping government in some kind of governance or something in the public domain, how this could be helpful. And that can be covered in the media, in the newspapers, to bring the average understanding of society. So if I can give a specific example, we have seen in Ahmedabad, everywhere Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation is putting Swachh Ahmedabad Abhiyan, right? So you have to put the wet kachra into one kind of dustbin, and the suka kachra, dry garbage into another color of dustbin. But still, even despite this, if I ask in the team, even right now, which color means for what, I don't think many of you will be able to remember, right? And even airport or railway station, many times I've seen people just, whatever the first dustbin comes, they dump everything there. Nobody even think about it, that they can segregate. By segregating, it definitely helps because that segregated waste has a value, and you can even generate income out of it, right, or money out of it. So what can we do? So let's say there could be a startup who the startup would having, let's say, few dustbins or the collection of dust area, where there is a camera there, and whoever is approaching the dustbin, for example, can identify what kind of waste it is, and then only open that dustbin, not open the other one. So you can segregate recyclable material versus something which is non-recyclable. For example, glass or plastic, some paper can be recyclable. So by simple object detection mechanism, we can segregate. So if such solutions can be promoted and showcased to multiple places in Ahmedabad, right, that will bring a lot of visibility and bring awareness, right? Also, I remember one of the very interesting case study in Europe many years back. Every city in the world, every state are struggle with the power, right? Infrastructure. You look at Adani Power, Torrent Power, and Tata Power. So many infrastructure companies are focusing on the power generation, because no power, no AI. Forget it, right? I mean, ultimately you need a juice. So there was a very interesting initiative in I forgot the name of city in Europe, but a few years back they had initiative that let's say I want to participate into some energy program where government or utility company can monitor usage pattern of how I consume the power, right? Now typically in a summertime, when everybody wants to increase air condition, everybody's air condition is on, at that time power consumption reach at the peak demand, right? Otherwise, most of the other time, 10 out of 12 months, you don't need a peak demand. So how do you, now just for that 1 or 1.5 months, you don't want to put another nuclear power to spend another $1 billion to generate the power. Instead of that, what if I can intelligently ask citizens to participate, where are they willing to take 10% cut? That utility company during the peak time, they can shut off the equipment in your home remotely. But by doing that, they will be willing to give you 10 or 20% bill reduction. So many might, even 10% citizens willing to participate because they are getting 20% refund in the electricity bill. The government can spend $1 billion saving. They don't need to build the peak capacity. So many such, using the data and analytics, government can bring such initiatives, I think.
Yeah, you have actually, there was the next question that I was going to ask you about what can we do from a government and welfare perspective. And you are also involved in animal welfare and using AI for that. So I know you have a lot of interesting examples there. Anything that you'd like to share?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, this is something very close to my heart. Animal welfare, or one of the things that Rahul mentioned, something we worked on last almost 5 to 6 years, is a Violence-Free World Initiative, which is basically how the innocent animals, or the animals everybody has right to live, right? And there are statistics which is already validated with few of the ISRO scientists that I work with very closely on this initiative. The numbers, approximately about 15,000 crore animals are being killed every year for the human consumption, which include the chickens and fishes and all of that. Now, people have their own choice what they want to eat and what they want to consume, but because of automation, extreme level of violence and is increasing. So to be a world be a better place. I mean, we don't want to sidetrack to the main topic, but so we're working on that initiative to bring with. There is no religion involved, just purely science, purely facts and logic. Study the facts and make your own judgment, particularly for the youth, that how the violence is impacting global health, global economics, and global environment, right? So data would speak for itself, and we try to collect a lot of data. We build a lot of Power BI dashboards to address all kind of different violence and then bring the awareness. Also, how AI particularly or data science can be helpful. Besides building the dashboard and raising the awareness, I think also, you could use AI to identify which part of ocean or what are the ideal climate or water conditions or temperature conditions where you can find next 3 trillions or few thousand tons of fish to kill or to capture, versus you can use the same AI to help the regulations. For example, in Europe has various regulations that certain species which is almost extinct or like going away, those species, how you can protect them. So there are regulations in many European countries for fishermen that if you identify certain kind of fishes that you cannot, it's illegal, there are a lot of heavy fines, you have to put it back into the ocean because they are very endangered species. But many times people don't know, right? They would not remember that this is endangered or extinct or not extinct. So you can put some cameras on these fishermen boats, and when they are collecting the fishes, they will immediately alert that this, by looking at the image classification, that this is endangered species, you have to put it back in the ocean. This is just one example, but for sustainability and many areas, I can give many examples where AI and data science can be helpful for better world, for better mankind. And I think as a moral compass, I also feel that our students should look at that angle as well, that your talent and your knowledge of data science, where it should be helpful, right? Because it can be used both ways. But having moral compass would be helpful to keep it in balance.
No, and I think you brought up a very interesting point, and maybe for the students here and everywhere. I mean, if there is interest, I'm sure you can use their help in collecting data, in creating dashboards, creating tools, what have you. So something that it is for betterment versus for creating
Better world.
create the better world and use our knowledge, our insights to drive that versus just creating revenue and profits, right? So
Right.
I love that idea, and something that we can talk about at length in terms of how you are setting it up, what can we parse out as here are things that students here can help you with,
Absolutely.
which will be perfect. So I think we've talked about a lot of the benevolent parts of how we can leverage AI and ML. But for students trying to pursue the career, what message would you like to give them? What should they be thinking about as they are trying to? All of them here are pursuing their career.
Okay. Yeah. So for students who are trying to explore the world of AI, and I do think that you, of course, needs to be good with mathematics and statistics. In fact, Raju is here. I have interacted and learned quite a bit of statistics stuff with him while interacting with him. As engineering students, I have not studied statistics. It was never part of it. But commerce students have studied statistics. Well, I don't know the new syllabus, how much statistics is involved, but for AI and data science, having a deep knowledge of statistics is paramountly important, and I think that's crucial. If you are coming from diploma side or commerce side, just using the AI tool to come up with a fancy presentation is not going to cut it. I think we need to really understand how these models work and understand the dynamics behind it, right? Otherwise, there are 85 million users in the world who run the Excel, right? Excel, in my opinion, is one of the most widely used software in the world. So you want to be one of the user who can use Copilot and ask Excel to do many fancy things, or you want to understand how Copilot works so that you can apply that knowledge in a much deeper way and build such tools in the future. So since you are the students of data science and AI, I would suggest that you have to take one step forward, go beyond the tool. Just don't use all the Keras or GitHub ready-made repository and do some standard stuff. For example, take the images and classify that this person is a COVID or not COVID. Right? This is, yes, you can do that as a learning part, early part of your career, but you have to, in my opinion, go quite deeper, right? Understand the data, understand the whole cycle, understand the entire pipeline of collecting data, labeling the data, cleaning the data, testing the data, passing the data through models, optimizing the model, fine-tuning the model, right? Understand the big picture of AI, machine learning, deep learning, generative AI, how they are all connecting together, right? So you have, experience resources available to you. Plus you have a lot of, thanks to COVID, online content has, for any topic you will have at least 1,000 videos or courses available. So use that, but go to the deeper meaning of whatever we do, and try to learn, try to implement yourself, right? Try not to use GitHub Copilots and ChatGPT to generate the code for you. I think stress your brain a little more. You can use those tools. I mean, you have to restrict yourself, right? When things are so much available, but still, just like doing a fast, right? So much food available, but you are restraining yourself not to eat like that. So I think it's important for you to go through that pain and to do a better education on that side. But what problems to be solved and how effectively, how efficiently you can solve, that's going to be the key.
It's a great point. I'm assuming everybody here uses ChatGPT. Yes? Instagram or ChatGPT, which one is higher?
That's right.
We're a new generation.
Right.
So, you've all heard of the DeepSeek? Have you heard of Grok?
What is Grok? Anybody?
Grok is too new. Why don't I ask you? So, there are so many tools on generative AI that are going to be out there. Where do you think the industry is headed? I mean, you've mentioned, go deeper, try and do things yourself. I see my son who's in 12th grade. He loves his ChatGPT. I mean, he'll go and ask questions and he's like, ChatGPT knows me very well. It'll tell me whether I'll get 20 in eco or 25. So where do you think this industry is headed?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question, and what students should do or not do, that's moral compass versus in a professional world, in a real world, when you have so much tools are available, how efficient you can use it, and where the world is heading towards. I think in general, competition is good than no competition, right? Because competition forces people to innovate. Competition forces people to survive, right? Because you have to be better than them. Otherwise, people get into comfort zone. So I do believe that this competition between DeepSeek, which is, just came a month or back from China, and has really shocked the world. The stock price of all other companies, similar work in OpenAI or NVIDIA, where the GPU on which these models were, the stock price has plummeted. So it's going to be, so far as we all have seen, when it comes to AI innovations, US has dominance that we have seen in last, at least 1 or 2 decades. This DeepSeek kind of innovations is kind of very clear message that other countries with innovations, the geopolitical, geo-innovation forces can be other parts of the world. This is not is a territory or dominance of US. Like India also has talked about that they want to build their own language models, because India is sitting on 29 languages, right? It's not just English like US. So we have huge vernacular language innovations. There's another huge space is waiting for us. So there is going to be competition, there is going to be better models, there is going to be differentiators. For example, if you talk about blockchain technology, right? Bitcoin is so much power hungry versus consumes so much of electricity, versus later part of blockchain innovations and new crypto algorithms has become more and more energy friendly. Similarly, in the world of AI, the new models which can do or give you the same answers with less consumptions of energy. That's a new room for innovation. Versus like Grok, which Elon Musk from Twitter, X AI initiative, which is much faster. They do relatively much better job to answer mathematical and research-based questions compared to the earlier predecessors that's already available in the market. So I think this will all, right now we don't want to discuss the comparing parameters right now, but the key message is you guys are really witnessing amazing transformation, right, that is going on in front of us. And you know, the key message here would be just enjoy the journey. You look at and see, find the ways where you can contribute the best. But I think it's all happening for the betterment. Cheaper, open source, cost-effective, faster innovations coming to us, which we all can use to build some interesting applications on top of it.
So there are always two questions that we end any AI discussion with. The first one is going to be, what are some of the ethical, privacy, data security concerns or challenges that we see? Today, it is, and I take my son's example. I mean, it's once you start training an AI chatbot, it's gonna learn so much about yourself, and the reliance, it's addictive. It is so addictive that you're gonna go to it as a question answer tool versus anything else. People are gonna get high on AI somehow. That's what I think. So what are your thoughts on this?
A lot of new world and new models are becoming a virtual companion, kind of the trend. See, I used to travel quite a bit to Japan, and almost 10 years back, I had extensive travel to Japan, Korea, and China, part of the world. And I seen the trend at that time that Japanese culture is very shy, right, and work quite a bit extensively, and not maybe much social aspects of it. So the whole culture of virtual companion, virtual friend, virtual girlfriend, which knows more about you, and and that culture is now even fueled with AI, because now you can train that model quite a bit. So, but on one sense, people are okay with it, right? Because they want, they put their privacy aside. They are okay with other models to learn about themselves. Versus that's one extreme. Other extreme is, governments putting a lot of restriction and lawsuits that you shouldn't share your private data, this and that. So I do see that it's a cultural shift also. US and Europe are more sensitive to privacy versus larger part of APAC. I mean, I'm not in favor of releasing all your private data, but I'm just observing that the awareness about privacy and secrecy is relatively less, which of course needs to be improved, and that's why a lot of cyber crime is happening around us in this part of the world. Now coming back to ethical aspects of AI and privacy of it. For any AI or for any such models that currently are in practice, they will only work and only sustain with data, right? And data, what is data? Data is what I am doing, where I'm traveling, what I'm eating, where I'm doing vacationing, what food I'm ordering. Anything I do, it's basically a transaction or it's a line item that I ordered pizza. After eating pizza, I ordered Coke, or I went to Vietnam. This is the flight that I booked. So everything we do, it's been tracked, and that can be used to make all kind of predictions, all kind of judgments. And so what can we do with it? So as far as this data is not used to personally harm people, but collectively helpful to the people with mass trends, what's happening in the world, I think I'm okay personally. But companies should be given very clear guidance that how they not misuse or the data that they have, and that is why Indian government has regulations. In fact, it's a good initiative called DPDP, and then what is the European GDPR, and there are other initiatives which require that whoever is in the world of AI, you have to maintain certain standards. Now, in terms of decision making and some the stuff where AI can be biased, right? So as a good AI professional, whatever we work, we need to be cognizant about how effectively we use the AI to work that we do. As a classic example, I've seen that one of the hiring company which is building the AI models, which was trained based on the male images and male data. So whenever they have to perform in the real world, when they want to do the job applicant selection, they were biasing more towards male because they have not seen enough data of the female candidates, right? So that is a bias. So more the future of AI, and as a professional, we need to be aware about many such biased examples where you build a model, you collect the data in such a way that there are no moral bias is involved, because more and more decisions will be taken by AI. So there has to be bias free to be fair.
I think, yeah, there's too many constraints and considerations as you think about this whole new notion. And any new technology takes a lot of time to evolve before it becomes safe. And I mean, we are in that evolution phase versus ready to just, deal with it. You mentioned you change something every 2.5 years. Now, I hope your message to them is not to change companies or jobs every 2.5 years, but maybe that's what they're thinking. But what do you really mean by that, and how does one set themselves up for that?
As I said, if I look at for myself, right, the first the larger company that I worked with, I worked for almost 8.5 years. Second company, almost 8.5 years. But don't get, at least for me, again, this is very personal thing. I do have a lot of friends who enjoy doing the same thing for 25 years, right? So it's very personal thing. But what I mean to say that you should get exposed to different job functions, right? As a software engineer, sometimes you just go into a cubicle, keep doing the work, and pass it on to your superiors or your manager and move on, right? Many times you get one step forward, that what client is looking for, why my company is working on this problem, what is the implications of this problem. Because see, when I interview people, right, when we hire people, I ask them before, okay, tell me about the project that you're working on. Typically, what they'll do is they'll start explaining, okay, I use this React.js stack and I use this model. I say, okay, hold on. First, let's understand what problem you are solving. Many times they don't know, right? I think where are you spending your 8 hours or 10 hours daily? You need to know where and how it's going to impact the world. Not necessarily everything has to change the world, but my point is take more curious understanding. And since I spent quite a bit of my career in telecom, in a telecom world, Rahul, last mile is very important, right? Why last mile? Because you can put big internet infrastructure and all of that, but unless you provide the right connectivity in your home, which these days it's fiber, right? Many of you have fiber coming to your home, which was not the case many years back when we had only a telephone line with 56 kbps, the speed, the max you can get. That's how we have lived for many years. And then we changed from megabit to now gigabit. So last mile, if the last mile has to be fiber to your home, otherwise, no matter you have billions of data crunching you do, faster internet won't come to your home. Similarly, in your career, I think last mile is important. So last mile in the sense that whether you're in a consulting world or engineering world or you become project managers or leaders, try to understand the connectivity with the client. What problem your company is solving? The big picture of the problem would help you to engineer better, to think about the problem statement better. Right? And that's why it's important to expose to different roles. Even though you enjoy your engineering role, but spend some time with the sales guys in your company, or spend some time with the marketing folks in the company. Spend some time with the people who are your clients, for example. Like as a data science company, you can't be just good at least square algorithm or linear regression or one of the latest model of NLP. that's all good stuff. But I think it's important to have a common sense and general knowledge available, because as a data scientist, you're not gonna be working on one domain. Someday you'll be working solving a lawyer problem, someday you'll be working with a healthcare problem, some other day you'll be working for media and entertainment like Viacom 18, you working with them that how can I, like after the match, right? You've seen India-Pakistan match. After the match is over, within 5 minutes, I want to see the highlight of the match. Who's gonna generate? I mean, if you look at the video editing, it's gonna take hours. But if you ask AI, it can do that job, right? So you can be working for media and entertainment company also. So as a data scientist professional, keep your eyes, ears, and general knowledge open, so that you can learn how to digest the data of any domain in a much faster way.